Hello, my name is Zachary Hogan, also known as IZXTG on social media, and I'm here to help you start with trading in a simple yet effective way when it comes to considering the technical and fundamental element of the financial markets. Now, we are here on Forex Factory. It is Friday, April 14th, and we're going to be discussing the week ahead for the 16th to the 21st of April 2017. Now, I want to just highlight here this Treasury currency report. For those of you who do follow the weekly outlooks as a subscribed member of this YouTube, you would notice that this wasn't on the outlook last time that we went live. It was actually added, I believe, Thursday night to the schedule. So basically, the simplest way that I can summarize what this is for you is it's an economic news event for the manipulation of currencies. They're going to be discussing it, which will manipulate currencies because they're discussing the manipulation of currencies. It's a big inception. Basically, we're looking at different countries around the world, and they're going to be essentially thinking about who they feel is manipulating their currency within the markets or potentially other currencies, depending on the extent of it. So it should be interesting. I would really suggest that you pay attention if you're in any positions for this upcoming week, because there should be an increase of volatility. However, we will just have to see what happens. So if we go ahead and if we just fast forward now to the Sunday, to the 21st, let's take a look at what's going on. We do have a bunch of bank holidays. It is Good Friday here in Canada, and then of course we have Easter Monday. But on the Sunday, we have a New Zealand dollar and an Australian dollar bank holiday. We have some CNY news coming out on the GDP, for their GDP, as well as the industrial production. But for Monday, we have a Euro holiday for France, Germany, Italy, and we also have a British pound bank holiday with the Swiss franc too. Earlier on in the morning, we will have the Bank of Japan's GOV Kuroda speaking, so you could expect any Japanese yen pairs to potentially increase in volatility, followed by 9:30 p.m. the Australian dollar's monetary policy meeting minutes. Tuesday morning, we have the US dollar building permits, followed by a tentative New Zealand dollar GDP or GDT price index release. For Wednesday, we do have crude oil inventories as well as the New Zealand dollar CPI. Thursday, we have the Philly Fed manufacturing index as well as unemployment claims, followed by some British pound news in the afternoon with the Bank of England's Governor Carney speaking, as well as Treasury Secretary Munich speaking in the afternoon for the US dollar. On Friday, we do have retail sales for the British pound, as well as some Canadian news, the CPI most importantly in the morning, but it does look, fundamentally speaking, like a pretty tame week. Next week, there's nothing too crazy or major going on, so we're really just we're gonna have to see what happens with the market, given the assumption that there could be an increased volatility because of the currency manipulation report releasing. Now, if we're on here looking at the US dollar Canadian, let's just zoom in. Let's take a look at what happened. Obviously, you can see where we opened the week right here. We had a lot of bearish movement, and then we had one big bullish day here on the Thursday, followed by a very low level of trading here on the Friday. For my outlook this week on the US dollar Canadian, I am bullish. I'm looking at the 1325 zone as my bullish confirmation, so I'll go ahead, I'll update that accordingly in the event where we do get a little retest potentially. And as for the bearish confirmation level, I feel like the 1349 zone is still relevant in our weekly target. I'm gonna just go ahead, leave it up there at the 1355, because I still, again, feel like this is a relevant price point. We fast forward now to the US dollar yen. For those of you who remember, last week I was bullish on this pair initially, and then we did have the turning point here on the 10th. and we had a massive amount of bearish action about from the close of this day to the low of today. Let's say about 240 pips, and that was a lot of movement just for what's been happening here in the last couple of days. Of course, we did have this one bullish close, but then just to finish off the Friday, even some more bearish action. So I am, relatively speaking, bearish on this pair now. Obviously, when it comes to trading, you need to adapt in the moment. And while it's beneficial to tune in for the weekly updates, obviously, it's even more beneficial to be a student getting personal mentorship with me so you can get real-time updates as per what I think is happening. We can communicate a lot more easily, and it's just as better for everybody. So you can go ahead, you can check that out in the description below. But let's continue on with the video. Now, there is a potential reversal zone on the US dollar yen at 108.4. That's about 20 pips below where price closed. So it could be interesting to see if we maybe even have a gap come through over the weekend. However, we will just have to see how market opens. For my bullish price confirmation level, I'm looking at the 107 psychological zone. So I'll go ahead, I'll put that down there. It's right in line with our 61.8 Fibonacci zone. So you can keep that in mind because that is the golden ratio. It is a very powerful Fibonacci letter or number within the sequence, and that's something that you'll be able to learn more about as you progress through the lessons as a student. Now, the weekly target, because I am looking for more bearish action on this, I'm going to put this right in line at that 107. It's about 160 pips to the downside, so there is a lot of stuff happening, in my opinion, right at this 61.8. Would not surprise me at all to see price continue down. And when it comes to the bearish price level of interest, I do believe there is more potential for that downwards movement, not necessarily this upcoming week, but the 105.5 zone. There is a lot of confluence there. If we go and look to the left, you can see there has been quite a lot of trading. It was also the catalyst right before we had that first spike down, about 680 pips below the 100 zone. So we're really just going to have to see what happens here and, just keep our eyes on the charts. When it comes to my bullish price level of interest right now, I would feel that it's still up around the 112, but let's go ahead, let's drop it 100 pips down to the 111, right at our 38.2 Fibonacci, and any bearish confirmation that we could potentially have come through, I would be thinking in the event where we do get back up to the 110.25 level, right around all of these wicks, there would be some massive potential for a bearish confirmation. So just keep your eyes on that, and we will see what happens. And with that, let's move ahead to what our British pound US dollar is looking like. This was something that I was trading this week. It's been moving quite beautifully. Obviously, if you've been following the weekly outlooks, you can see we did have our bearish price level of interest as well as the bullish confirmation. On the Sunday, we came down, we hit the bullish price confirmation, got a nice close, and then just continued up from the low to where we closed today. It's about 160 pips. So congratulations for anybody who did manage to capitalize on this trade. Obviously, our weekly target is a little bit beyond where price is now. So I'm going to just go ahead, I'm going to update that accordingly because I do still feel there's more bullish price action incoming for the British pound and the 1263. That's a very good point, potentially for price to reach within the next few days, if not early into next week. Now, when it comes to a bullish confirmation zone, I'm not necessarily thinking that price is going to get this low for where we were, but we still need to keep it in mind. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move this up to the 1247. area, and there would be, it wouldn't surprise me if we did get a test back down into here. There is potential for us even to go down to the 1243 area maybe. So just really make sure that you have a solid confirmation before you go to enter this trade, because I am expecting a lot of volatility to come through. When it comes for our bearish confirmation, I still would be looking right at where our target is, and for our bear price level of interest, I am going to go ahead and just move this up to the 124 psychological zone. And, of course, with that, I believe, my bullish stance on the British pound is still very, very relevant. And what do we want to look at next? How about the Aussie and the dollar? Now, this was also something that was a very beautiful trade this week. As you can see here on the Sunday, we tapped our bullish confirmation zone again on the Monday, and then on the Tuesday we tapped it one more time, and then we just skyrocketed up from the bullish confirmation level to the close. It's been about 100 pips of movement, so again, congratulations for anybody who was in this position. And I still feel like this 762 price target is very relevant, so we're just going to go ahead, we're going to update that accordingly. And when it comes to our confirmation zones, I feel like if we were to get another bullish confirmation on a potential retrace, it would happen around the 753 zone. And when it comes to our bearish confirmation level, I would definitely be just looking for some confluence right at our target at the 762. So I'll go ahead, I'll move that up just so the line is there and it's relevant for you. And our price levels of interest, I am just going to leave them for now. However, because I am bullish, I would feel more inclined to see at least a 61.8 tested one more time. And then, of course, the potential for us just to push right up to our bull price level of interest, potentially even by the end of April. But again, we will just have to see. If we look at the NZDUSD, there wasn't too much happening with that this week. We did come down. We opened up the week right here. We had a bullish day, a bearish day, another bearish day that almost came right down. The low was 9.4 pips above our price level of interest at that 69 psychological zone, and then we did have a nice push up of about 100 pips. Now, with where price closed, I would be inclined to expect some more bullish movement, and I don't really feel like it's necessary to change anything on this chart right now because I still feel like everything is relevant. I still feel like our zones are looking good. The only area that I would be paying attention to is this whole 705 to 707 area, this 20 pip range right in here. See how price reacts in the event where it does get to there, and then of course just adapt regarding to the information that the market is giving you accordingly. Now, if we are to go ahead, let's look at the EURUSD. And on this asset, one thing that I will say is, regardless of how the movement has been this week, I mean, obviously I was expecting the test down to the 105 zone. I am still bullish on this pair, and I don't necessarily feel like we're going to get that low anymore given how the week has played out. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to look to see if we do get any confirmation right up here at the 105.57, because I still feel like there is potential for us to, that was actually supposed to be 105.7, my apologies. I still feel like there is potential for us to get one more test. It is about 45, 50 pips below where price closed right now. So don't let that surprise you if it does happen. Our bearish price level of interest, I still do feel it's relevant leaving it right where it is, but our weekly target, I'm going to adjust that accordingly. Let's move that up to make it more relevant with what I feel could happen. In this next couple of days, it would not surprise me to see a lot of bullish price action coming into play with the euro US dollar, especially if we go and we look at the fundamental side of things with some of the statements that Trump has been making, some of the actions that the United States have been making that's affecting the markets you know, as we can see, the first few days of this week were very volatile. And then, you know, Thursday, Friday, things kind of started slowing down, given there are the holidays up and coming, as well as the Good Friday already happening today. So just keep that in mind. People are obviously still trading, but we will just have to look forward to next week and see what happens in regards to the volatility. Now, I have been trading two other assets that I haven't analyzed on here for you guys previously, and I'll give you just a little tease. First is the GBPAUD. You know, I am bullish on this pair, and as you can see, I have a long-term target confirmation level I'm looking at up here at the 1.75. That is 1,000 pips to the upside from where we are right now, and that's very realistic for me to see achieved within 2017. Now, with that being said, I will be looking for some long confirmations as well as entries down at this 164 level. So, you know, that is about 120, well, let me just 120, 130 pips below where we are right now. And when it comes to confirmation zones, that 164 level would be my best bullish confirmation I could be looking for. And with the bearish levels in mind, I would say the 1657 zone. So literally right about here at these wicks. You know, I would just pay attention and see what happens. But I would have a weekly target on this down at the 164 level. You know, this is a very volatile pair in my opinion. From what you can see, I actually I had a sell position at 167, so right about here near the top of this wick, and then we did have a movement of about 130 pips on this day here, the Thursday that just happened. So just pay attention if you are going to be trading this. Remember that because it is a cross pair between the British pound and the Australian dollar, there is a larger spread. It is a little bit more volatile, and it's something that you want to definitely pay attention to if you will be opening any positions on that. Now, with the last asset that I'm going to show you, it's the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. I am bullish on this asset as well. I will be looking for a long-term target of 1.1. However, I feel like within the next week we could see 109.2 being reached, so that would be our weekly target. I'm not going to go ahead and update this chart too drastically because this is probably the last time that you're going to see it for a while, unless you become a student of mine, where we're going to be getting more involved, as you could have maybe even seen on the GBPAUD chart. But yeah, I would say confirmation zones, I mean on the AUDNZD, looking at 108, you know, right down here around this level could be a good confirmation zone. We have a area of demand down here at the 107.8 to 107.6 range, let's say. So, you know, there is a nice little 20 pip zone. We've got some supply up here that I could see from past at the 108, you know, 109 region, as well as up here at the 109.5 area. So just pay attention if you do trade this. And our weekly target, you know, this 109.2, that would not surprise me. I really do feel like if we even just go ahead and take a look at all the consolidation that's been happening, just imagine how many orders have been building up. This was all of Friday's trading. I'll just highlight it for you. Let me just change the zoom. We'll just highlight it for you, just right in here. This was everything that happened today. So we were really tightly consolidating within a 20 pip range. We were getting huge wicks, just kind of spiking, you know, 10, 15, 20 pips, and then pulling back right back down into this whole zone. So as I said, you know, I'm really looking for a big movement. Would not surprise me if this pair gaps after the weekend when market is open again. So we will just have to see, and of course stay on top of things because we are trading effectively. Now, please let me know in the comments how this video helped you. If you have any questions, let me know what you're trading and looking at. And of course, be sure to like this video if you found it helpful, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you can continue to get weekly updates, new training, and even free bonus incentives that I offer to you so you can start trading on a new level. Now, you can also feel free to send me an email at zachary@startwithtrading.com if you would like to inquire about becoming a student, or you can check out the personal mentorship page in the description below, or by clicking on the information box here on the video. With that, I'd like to wish you a awesome weekend. Spend some time with your friends, your family, your loved ones, whoever it is. Even if you're just spending that time by yourself, do something positive that you can reflect back on and be grateful for, because I believe that you can find something, and I can guarantee you can find something to be grateful for in each and every single day. And I'd just like to say, as always, safe and happy trading. I'm Zachary from SWT, and you can find me socially.